December the 1st, President McKinney has met with a CPA firm weekly related to the transition of duties. December 3rd, available board members gathered to read the HB 1309 draft report. December 5th, President McKinney and Vice President Brandhoover, along with Handyman Committee Ed Maynard, removed 25 file boxes from Windermere and placed them at the new storage room in Smoky Point. December 6th, President McKinney attended a field meeting with Landscape Committee Chairperson Judy Ness and committee members to review plans for median number 2, Gleneagle Boulevard and Country Club, with Mike Hall. Mike Hall's the one that was doing the excavation work. December 8th, President McKinney met with newsletter chairperson Judy Ness to discuss items related to the next newsletter. December 12th, President McKinney met with a third landscape company wanting to bid the 2012 contract. A map with details was presented and a field drive-through of the development was done. Also December 12th, President McKinney and Vice President Brandhoover met with the compliance officers to discuss the plan for action for 2012. Vice President Brandhoover presented several suggestions to improve compliance patrolling and reporting. December 12th, President McKinney, Director Vesuvio, Director Dominowski met with Jim Kelly, Director of Public Works, pertaining to the flooding and possible improvements to detention basin number 2. December 13th, a special board meeting was held to discuss HB 1309 and landscape plans. Attending were President McKinney, Vice President Brandhoover, Director Dominowski, Director Vesuvio, and Director Davis. Is that correct? You were there, Jason?
I was there for sure.
Okay. On December the 23rd, a trial date was set for the Holden McDaniel lawsuit for November 26th through December 14th, 2012. We signed the landscape contract with Highlander Landscape. We signed street patrol trash pickup and compliance management with Walt Reby. December 28th, Director Dominowski and President McKinney met with Laurel Hartley to invite her to join the Gleneagle board. December 29th, President McKinney and Compliance Officer Walt Reby met with Justin Rose to review and discuss golf carts needed for street and compliance patrols. December 31st, Johnny Vesuvio resigned from the board. January 5th, President McKinney assisted the City of Arlington in clearing drainage pipes at Harris Court. The following motions were passed on December the 13th. And I'm just going to read the therefore instead of all the whereas to move along. The President here assigns the right to sign association checks also to the Vice President and Director Dominowski. And this passed with one abstain, that was Jason Davis. The board approved the voting by all owners of Gleneagle Country Club Association. Since this seems to be an area of interest, I'll read the whole thing. At December 13th, whereas the approved common property study required by HB 1309 has been submitted in draft form, and 2, the President of Gleneagle has asked the firm to hold the report pending board action, and 3, the independent report states the current funding level is 16%, that's a quote, which is considered weak, close quote. 4, all owners are required by state law to disclose this funding level with any process to sell or refinance their property. 5, the board has communicated a plan to the firm that will change the replacement cost total from $948,638 to only $494,000. 6, the funding level will increase from 16% to approximately 34%. It actually went up higher than that. 7, the voting will be controlled by the CPA firm. 8, the letter to owners and the ballot are included in this motion. And then it was approved.
On the 14th, it mailed went out, is that correct? Chuck, on the 14th, the vote went out? Because everybody received it, I think, on the 15th. And this motion was made in the evening on the 13th, so
Okay.
did
Let's
the
move on.
did the action already occur before the 14th or before the motion was made? The approval for
The
the vote to
motion
go
was
on?
made on the 13th and it was mailed out on the 14th.
My understanding, it was printed up and everything.
Jason, I'm going to move on.
Okay.
Why?
No, it's,
We want to know. Yeah, we want to know the
What was
truth.
the vote?
Okay, I told you when you came in here, you do not have the right to address the board unless we grant it. If you
When are we doing it?
okay, I also have the ability to clear the room and continue the meeting without you. If you wish to do that, we'll clear the room, the police will come and order you out, and we'll have the meeting without you. Otherwise, I will fine, starting right now, anybody that's disruptive. I'll ask others to tell me who it is, and you will be fined starting at $25, $50, $100, $200, $400, and $500 after each offense.
My name's Tim Hogue. I'd like to know why we're not discussing this.
What's your name?
I just told you what my name was.
What is it?
Tim Hogue.
Jim Hogue?
$600.
Jim Hogue?
Guys,
Want me to have for $25?
I wanted to ask a question on that. That was the only thing I wanted to ask. Chuck, the only thing I would say, Chuck, on this motion is that you have me.
I am not going to put up with the disruption. Jim Hogue, you have a $25 fine.
Thank you very much.
Chuck, the only thing I would say is that I actually voted on that on the 13th, and I voted disapproved, and the motion doesn't show that.
Well, I can't talk to you, Jason, if people are yelling in the audience. Jim Hogue, disruption.
Tim, that's spelled with a T.
What?
Tim.
How do you spell it?
Tim.
T-I-M.
Jim.
Tim.
He said Tim.
Tim Hogue. H-O-U-G-E.
Sure enough.
Okay, you'll get a $25 fine.
Chuck,
So
the
you're
thing
gonna
I would
ask
say
my
is that
question?
Sir, here's my
Just gotta keep moving
contribution
on
toward
every
the
time you
fines
do.
that are collected tonight.
Nice, Nancy.
There you go. Now answer the question, guy.
Okay, I'll say it one more time. If you don't remain orderly, I will dial 911. They will come here and they will escort you out and we'll have the meeting without you.
Just get on with the meeting.
Now, if you would like to do that, it will still be a valid meeting. You just won't be here to know what's going on.
let's get on with
So
it.
you can be quiet
Stop
and be
being
present,
confrontational and just get on with it.
then be quiet.
Chuck, the only thing I'd say is that I voted on that to be disapproved. You don't have me as any motion here, and I did vote. This would be the motion on number 8 about mailing it out, because I'd expressed some concerns about the inaccuracy of the accompanying document. And
I didn't get a vote on you, but you marked disapproved.
I marked disapproved, and I would like to ask that if these are motions that did occur, I'd like to request that those be accompanied with the signatures, because we sign motions when we do them, and these have no signatures associated with them.
I have all the signatures. I have the motions in the file of minutes.
I would like to see those included so folks could actually see the
But you
physical
can see
signatures.
them later. Well, I'm not going to do it now. We need
Well, I
to
wouldn't
move
expect it
on.
now, but in the future, because signatures
Okay.
are what's important.
Okay, Jason. Well, I have those, and you're welcome to come over and see them. They're in the minutes folder.
I would just
That motion included the letter that was mailed, and then it had a postcard. The next motion was to approve Cascade Dirt Works to place 48 cubic yards of topsoil over here at the median at Gleneagle and Country Club. You can see it all piled up there.
Yeah, my concern on this one, Chuck, is there's no signatures, and we actually wrote a check for them.
Jason,
6 weeks
I
prior to the
take your
motion.
concern for every one of them, so you don't need to interrupt anymore.
Well, I guess the question, if this was a motion, I was at the
The
meeting.
next one was to appoint the handyman committee.
The check was written on
Bob
October
Hart-
31st to
Jason, I
Cascade.
can find you too.
I would, no, what I'm saying, Chuck, is this motion did not occur. The expense had already occurred back on October 31st. I have copies of checks to Cascade Dirt. I was at this meeting, the motion did not occur, and I will challenge you to provide signatures on this particular motion.
It's at my house.
I'm sure it is convenient. This action occurred, you created this motion. This motion did not occur.
Jason, one more outburst and I will fine you.
Well, one more fraudulent document, and I'll have some
You
concerns.
have your answer, you can come to
See,
the house
this
and
is
see
an
them.
outburst. He's not making an outburst. He's making a statement. He wants you to answer it. I'm walking up there with the $25 now. Would you answer his question and get on with
$50
it?
fine.
Okay, well, I'm working on it. Jesus Christ, I've earned
I
money
don't
for
want your
this.
money.
Thank you,
Go get a
Tim
letter
Ho.
from the CPA.
So Chuck, I'd like to know if this motion, I don't believe this motion occurred. John, do you recall this motion occurring at this meeting on the 13th for an expense that occurred on October 31st?
I don't recall, but I would ask that we review the minutes file. If my signature is on it, then it took place.
I agree with you.
If my signature is not on it,
Okay. And I would agree with you that it may have taken place. My concern is the expense and the action occurred 6 weeks prior
I have your
to the motion.
concerns, Jason, would you be quiet?
Okay?
We will skip the rest of what took place between the meetings.
I've got quite a few, actually.
You can read about them when the minutes are posted through the website.
On December 2nd, you received a check for $2,600 for reimbursement of a computer, of which you make a motion here on the 13th that we approved it. I did not approve a motion, and I sure heck didn't approve it on the 13th when the expense had already occurred on the 2nd.
Jason, are you going to stop?
I don't think he should.
I've got an expense for Chuck Hendricks for a PC.
Come on, Chuck, address this stuff.
That's 911.
there was a motion.
I'm going to call and have the police come out here and clear the...
Let's do the state control.
Let's just kick him off the board.
Yeah,
Are you going to volunteer to do
I'm going to place the call and have the police come and clear the room. Or you can be quiet and be orderly.
Then answer the question.
We will answer them in order.
I expect you to act like adults. I'm not going to call on you. You can either be quiet or I will place the call and have you ordered out.
Place it.
Anybody can go.
No, it's not.
Not allow the cops to.
It's not a public meeting.
I'm telling you from this facility standpoint.
It is not a public meeting. It is a homeowners meeting. It's private by law.
That's right, it's private to only homeowners.
It's only for homeowners.
So is this association, by the way?
Yes, they can.
Don't get your way. Good thing I'm gonna hang himself.
Well, there's a lot of people here with a lot of questions, and I think if they would remain orderly, we can answer them.
Yeah, if they would remain orderly. And that includes you, Jason.
Well, just, I'm asking why the motion on the 13th,
Jason,
He has a
all
right
of
to
the,
I'm just asking the question on why a motion on the 13th that I do not recall, that I have not seen any signatures for, was approved for an expense that you were compensated for on December the 9th, which is 5 days prior. I can only assume the purchase happened prior to that. What
how
I'm
do you
saying
know I
is
was
that it's
compensated on December the 9th?
because I finally got a copy of the documents that you would not allow Windermere to release to me or the accounting firm. So I went and tracked them all down myself. And I've got a copy of the check to Charles McKinney, signed by Mike Dominowski, for $2,609 for an
Okay.
expense that you say was approved at some meeting that earlier you said I wasn't in attendance at on the 13th. Go ahead, there's more.
Which one? Oh, here we go. Okay. And You're pretty sure that I didn't get approval from the...
You didn't get it on the 13th, and I've never seen any document with the signature.
Well, I do have approval to do it.
Okay, and when was it? Did it occur on the 13th? There's some other meeting that I didn't know about and didn't attend.
There were no other meetings you didn't know about. And if you folks would like to know, half the meetings we've had, Jason has refused to attend. You know, he shows up, causes a lot of trouble, and then moves on.
Maybe he doesn't want to get fined for asking you a
Or
question.
maybe he doesn't want to get physically assaulted by
If you do not be
Maybe I don't know. It's just I don't know
But
about
he
it.
just addressed us.
Okay, Eileen Schumann, $25 fine, and I will answer your question. He was not physically assaulted.
That's not fair after you addressed us. Not to let us respond.
I came prepared for questions. Question and answer period.
Okay, Eileen.
All right, guys, you know what? We can't call to order. Seriously, though, you're observing things. Just observe it, and you'll see a pattern, and you come to your own conclusions on that pattern. Okay? We're not going to get through each one of these because there's too many to deal with.
This is not a witchy.
Okay?
We're just going to move through and vote on these and be done with it. Eileen Schumann, you said I assaulted Jason. A police officer did come to my house after he interviewed the other people. When the police officer was done, he filled out a charge report to the prosecutor at the county charging Jason Davis with criminal trespass. That's now in front of the prosecutor's office in the
Criminal
county.
trespassing.
In a
You invited
private
him to
meeting.
your house.
At your house.
You invited him
Then
to
you
a meeting
invited
at your
me to.
house. He did
What's
not
your name?
trespass.
Nice try, champ.
What's your name?
His name is Tim Hogue also.
Hey, go ahead. Let's go ahead, Chuck. So you're on page 13 with the laptop.
Guys, let's listen to what the man's got to say.
Page 17. You know, there is some really important stuff here that could cost you several $1,000s in a special assessment. If you won't shut up, I can't tell you about it. But it's very, very important. We flooded Holden McDaniel the day before Thanksgiving. The $6 million lawsuit now points directly at this association. And it's not just $6 million, it's more than that now. So if you'll be quiet and pay attention, I'll try to bring you up to speed. We'll go to page 17. Oh, no, that's not right.
17 is the lawsuit.
We don't get
Yeah,
I'll mention two.
I might have skipped something.
It is.
Page 15. Okay, there are no financial statements. Windermere has not prepared them for December. There is no motion to pay invoices. Windermere has not prepared that either. Okay, the next one,
Go ahead.
okay, is the Architectural Control Committee here? Is that you? Would you like to give a report or not? Okay. The Newsletter Committee, report or not? Okay. Landscape Committee, report or not?
She can't be here. She sent me an email. She can't get out of her place.
Welcoming Committee,
I'm here, but
no report? Okay, now, we'll get to the
I didn't see any.
okay, attachment 7.
What about 17? Page 17. What you gonna go over?
I'm actually not there yet. 19. So we'll now jump to page
19?
19? We will. We'll get it later.
He's got a,
The attachments are not in
he needs
order
his third vote.
because of the way they came in. Okay. This is a motion, let's see. I'm supposed to make this motion. Thank you. All of these motions are this date, January 17th. Whereas there is a vacant position on the board, and whereas the Articles of Incorporation in Section 5.3, election of directors, states, directors need not be members of the association. Item 3, Laurel Hartley has shown initiative by rebuilding the split rail safety fence and clearing the overgrowth on the court, on the Iris Court, using her own effort and expense. 4, the president finds her attitude and willingness to take on projects refreshing. 5, over the past 10 months, more homeowners than I can count have refused to be part of the board. Number 6, renters now comprise 20% of the Gleneagle population. Additionally, that represents 20% of absent homeowners. I'm actually finding out it might be greater than that. Our compliance people are getting letters back where there apparently are renters instead of owners, so we have some work to do there. Now, therefore, Laurel Hartley is appointed to the board position ending in 2012. Is there a motion for that?
I have a call to order on that.
Just a minute. Is there a motion?
Motion, yes.
Is there a motion? Okay.
I make a call to order,
Excuse
though.
me, you had a point of order?
Point of order, thank you, sorry. New terms, I'm getting
There's
pretty
no
late.
seconds yet. There's no point till there is.
Second.
Yeah, that's it. Now say it.
Okay, I've got two.
What's your point of order, Jason?
My point of order is that it goes against our covenants, our governing documents. Laurel, no offense to you, I appreciate your service and you're willing to.
Thank you.
stand
I
up,
will
gal.
answer your point.
So I have two things. One is I have a document that says that no non-owners can attend meetings. This was from you on September 9th, so you're actually not supposed to be here per Mr. President's authority, whatever that
Jason.
might be. The second thing is a court order on 2002 where the good folks of Gleneagle took on Woodland Ridge Joint Ventures and removed the B membership, which is non-lot owner members. And in that document, it says that we are to do three things. One is eliminate the Class B members and create one class of members which shall be referred to as the Class A members, which are lot owners, and shall be comprised of all lot owners of Gleneagle Association. So that was the very first judgment. The second thing was remove Class B board members from the Gleneagle Country Club Association board. That was referencing non-lot owners. And then number 3, amend the articles, bylaws, and declarations of restricted covenants of Gleneagle Club dated January 6, 1993 and recorded under Snohomish, which is the document that you're reading where you're referencing the 5-3, which is a single statement that George Brown put in there so he could control this community's money. And it was the good people of Gleneagle that took George Brown to court and won. And it's the very essence of our ashes that this community as a
Jason.
phoenix
Jason.
came out of in the area of controlling our own money.
Jason.
And no offense to renters or anybody else, but if you don't own a lot here, it's not your money, and you were abolished in 2002.
Jason, I know all about that. You told me about it.
Then why aren't you adhering to it?
If you'll be quiet and listen, you told me about it many days ago.
I know I did. So why are we?
And listen. and I got a hold of the association attorney.
which you weren't supposed to do. Go ahead.
Nobody here wants a
Jason
reference.
Davis, $25 fine.
Nobody here wants a reference.
So are you the only person that can impose a $25 fine because of anything? You should be fined $25 every time you open your mouth.
So Chuck, go ahead. If you got
Okay.
counsel
It
from
makes
Tom,
no
what did he say?
common
And we have that in
sense.
writing.
She can't even vote for herself.
Would
No
you
one
would be
here wants
quiet,
her on the
Eileen?
board.
Go ahead, Chuck. Eileen, hold on.
Eileen Schumann, $50 fine.
So go ahead, Chuck.
You may think this is funny, it's not. They will get
Your
bills.
behavior is outrageous.
Pause. Hey, shut up, please, everybody. Seriously, just let me try to run this thing. I don't mean to get barky at you.
You're not
Let's
running
hang
it, I
on.
Thank
am.
you.
Yeah, we'll see. So Chuck, go ahead.
Aren't running it.
What was
You're not the president.
Tom Adams' counsel on the
Okay,
question?
but I tell you what, I'm tired of this. If you continue, we will leave this place and go to another location and carry the board meeting out without you.
Chuck, you were going to answer the
Now, I
question.
want you to be quiet. I don't want to have to ask again. You're acting less than adult.
What? Go ahead, Chuck.
Jason, the attorney,
Which is who? Which attorney?
Jason, if you'll be quiet, I will answer. If you're not going to be quiet, I'll add another fine.
Go ahead.
And I want to tell you what he said, but you need to be quiet. Take control of yourself.
Please identify the attorney then. Go ahead.
I spoke with the association attorney, who is Tom Adams. He read and checked out all that you're talking about because you had brought it up. I did that. And he said, one, anybody can be a member of the board because that's what the law says in the Articles of Incorporation. Now, that's not me. That is the attorney's.
Do you have that in writing, or is this a phone call?
Jason, two, he went over the Articles of Incorporation in detail with me over the phone. And he did say, well, I'm surprised to see that it allows non-owners to be on the board. But then he said, but it does allow that, so that's what you can have. Anybody can be on the board.
Okay, as I understand, okay, that's
Jason,
what,
let me ask you a question. Are you going to accept what the attorney says?
I'm going to accept what the attorney says. I'm not going to accept what you say. Not only that, but there was a motion made on the 5th during an executive session, which we actually shouldn't have made any motions.
No.
But at that, there was an agreement that you were going to contact the attorney based on questions that we were going to collectively put together and agree upon. It sounds to me like you breached that motion, which actually we shouldn't have made in an executive closed room
So
session.
we shouldn't have made it.
That's
I
right.
contacted the attorney because Jason Davis demanded to know if those Articles of Incorporation were valid.
So I
The
don't,
demand of Jason Davis prompted me to get a hold of the attorney.
Yeah,
We
well-
will now call for a vote on this motion.
yeah, but Chuck, I am not
Mike
believing, no
Alhosky,
offense,
how do you
but you
vote?
also told at Facility Advisors,
Jason Davis, $50 fine.
you also told Facility Advisors that we own the
Jason Davis,
mailboxes.
$100 fine.
You can't do that,
You can't
Chuck.
do that. He is a board member. He is allowed to speak.
We're all allowed to.
Brenda
Brenda
Falk,
Fox.
$25.
$25.
Thank
So
you.
Chuck, the reality of it is, if you're
Okay.
basing this
John
approval,
Branthoover.
if you're basing this approval
How do you
on what
vote?
you heard,
Aye. Mike Dominowski voted aye. Jason Davis, how do you vote?
I vote absolutely 100%, 1,000%, no offense to you at all.
Chuck
Absolutely
McKinney
no.
votes approved. The motion carries.
Absolutely, disgustingly, no.
Laurel, would you come to the chair
Oh,
here?
no one wants you here.
Hey, don't, you guys, Laurel doesn't need to be attacked personally. The subject matter is non-lot owners. It has nothing to do with the renters, okay?
We were
We're not here to talk about,
I've lived here longer than any of you. And
You've
this
been
kind
putting
of
up with this
thing,
shit the entire
We were
time?
court ordered to
This
remove that
kind of
tank and
behavior
you
was
parked
just
it.
well, I am right now. Listen, I don't care about it. This is wrong for us as owners in this to act this way.
What he's doing is wrong.
Frank, it's okay for us to speak our mind. That's what's going on right now. But he doesn't
We were
want
all
anybody to talk
ordered
about
to
it.
remove
Then
it.
let
It's a
those
board
two guys
meeting.
handle it out instead of of us.
supposed to.
Let them handle it.
Then they open it up to
The only opinion he cares about is his own. And until he's willing to accept somebody else's opinion, we're not going to get anywhere.
He tells me
did this when they got rid of her husband
You
last
believe
board
him
meeting.
after all this crap? That's fine, John, you know what, you go ahead and believe him, that's fine. If that's the delusion you want to live under, I'm either come to the conclusion that either you're siding or you are just not sharp as it's, you're not figuring it out. If it was legit and he supported it, he would have got a written document, that's his pattern. And you know it as well as I do.
why don't we talk to Tom Adams?
That was the emotion that we agreed upon.
This whole thing needs to be all at
Table.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
I'm trying to, I'm the president, but I can't do the meeting for all this screaming and yelling.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, come on.
No.
If he got counsel from Tom Adams, then how come Tom didn't put it in writing?
It needs to be in writing.
That's exactly right. It's in writing right here. I've got it in writing from let's see who the good court judge of Honorable David Holbert. And Chuck has got him on a phone call talking with Tom Adams.
In this meeting, there's almost
The
completely obvious.
the issue, though, Jason, is that this portion was never removed
That's
from the
right.
Articles of Incorporation.
But that doesn't over supersede 2002.
No, but as long as that,
No, it doesn't. Then I would say that this supersedes because it says eliminate all Class Bs, and it says that there is no Class B, and to remove them from the board. So
this doesn't refer to either Class A.
yes, it does. You need to bone up on the rules, John.
Election of directors.
Yeah, as they can vote. So she can vote for renters, but she can't. There's no renters that can be on the board. That's the whole purpose of removing board member Bs. That's not complicated. Bone up. You're reading one sentence that George Brown put in there so he could control these people's money at the time.
When I checked with the,
I promise you that.
Okay,
when
thank
I
you.
checked with the,
What is it?
Walt, you were around.
Okay, I think you should go.
I
I
asked,
think this meeting should be done. I'm not gonna let any police come in here. None of that. People are not gonna be escorted out. He just called the police.
The police are on their way.
So either you have two choices. Either I call them and tell them you are trespassing on my
Yes.
Yes.
property, or you leave now. So you choose.
I'll tell you what.
Because I'm not. This isn't a joke anymore. You're
Yeah,
being
let's
very
cancel
rude to
it.
them, and then in turn they're being rude to you. So you don't know how to handle people. Cops will not come in here. I will make sure that I stop them at the door. They're not allowed in here without my permission. Nothing. You have no say in this building.
I have.
No. You don't have no say in this building.
Don't touch it. Don't be touching him. Don't touch anything, sir.
Oh, that's an assault.
Sir, don't touch anything.
Did Chuck just accost somebody?
You want to touch
No,
him?
he's fine.
You cannot touch him.
He's fine.
No.
He's fine. He's fine.
You better get to the front door and make sure at least
The police will be fine. I will handle the police. Nobody's getting escorted out. And either the meeting ends now or people start being nice to each other. But they're not coming in here.
I agree. I'd like to make a motion to call the meeting.
Because on everybody's authority, I do have the power to kick whoever I want out. Okay? I'm going to be nice and let this go on. Everybody needs to be nice to each other and be quiet. Let them speak.
Tom Adams said it.
Okay? Do we understand?
You're smart enough to know that.
Thank you very much, Les.
John. I don't care. He,
closing the meeting down.
you know, he misadvised the financial.
remember why we're here.
This has to be.
He tried to take my questions and whip them around some BS. If you want to still keep believing the guy, then you go ahead and believe him.
I believe what Tom Adams said.
I believe what Tom Adams says, that's true.
If we contacted Adams in the morning and he said it's true, and it's
No, what we agree is we agree to draft up collectively intelligent questions, not questions that get answers that Chuck wants. And we say very simple, can renters be on the board based on these documents? And we provide it to them, which is exactly what I talked
that was
about
the
before.
question that was asked.
No, it wasn't. It was asked by Chuck over the phone, John. Were you there? No. I've got a document here from the Honorable Judge Hubert that
What will you do if we talk to Adams in the
I
morning?
will, I'm
and he
fine with it.
says it's okay?
Jason,
I'm
you're.
fine with it.
Really doesn't agree with that. Wait, son.
We gotta go, buddy.
It's his third vote.
I know. There are other things to do.
Are you ready to go on, Jason?
Can't speak.
Seriously, Chuck McKinney?
Seriously, you are,
Go ahead.
impeding the progress of the meeting,
Let's move
Jason.
on.
Go
Yes,
ahead,
let's
Chuck.
move on.
Yeah. I'm not the president, Mary Beth, otherwise I'd sure call on you.
Okay. The next item, well, we have no expenses. I'm not going to recognize any speakers.
Okay.
Number 4, the lawsuit drainage. Now, this is important because this is what happened the day before Thanksgiving. The Gleneagle detention pond number 2 overflowed on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, flooding the Holden McDaniel property with 90,000 cubic feet of water. On December the 15th, all the lawyers for this lawsuit, 18 of them, was a room full of lawyers, met with me, President McKinney, at the property to discuss the lawsuit and flooding issues. President McKinney presented a plan that I drew up to increase the detention pond number 2 by 2 to 4 million cubic feet. The plan was well received by all present. The City of Arlington is presently doing engineering studies on this plan. If no solution is found, the lawsuit is scheduled to go to trial in November of 2012. This is a new court date. As the President was told, the court date would be in February of 2012. Hopefully this is due to the plan to increase storage by 2 to 4 million cubic feet. The plaintiff attorney stated, after he saw this plan, he stated he would prefer a solution rather than going to trial. I want to tell you what that means. There's a $6 million lawsuit, and it's totally obvious that our detention pond's flooding their property. The attorney told me the judge very likely could also order injunctive action, where we will be ordered to do excavations and other things, and it's not covered by insurance. It could run $500,000, it could run $2, $3, $4, $5 million. It would be against Gleneagle. It would be an automatic special assessment against your property. Each $1 million is $1,000 plus against each property. If this plan works, the lawsuit will cease. The $6 million will disappear. The various defendants will come together, and our attorney told me, he says, this is such a good plan that if it works, I'm going to ask your insurance company to kick in to help do the modifications to meet the court's requirements.
Good, sounds like you're a good planner, Chuck, thank you.
The next one is item 5, the HOA dues and coupon books. They'll come out when the budget's mailed out. At the end of January, there'll be a sheet in there for coupon books.
Don't you have to have the budget ratified first? Before you can impose the dues?
Raise your hand. Okay. Now you're doing, what did you say? Brenda?
About what?
I can't hear, what did you say?
I'm asking that how can you send out the coupon books and the dues amount if the budget hasn't been ratified by the homeowners, which doesn't happen until the end of March?
We're going to ratify the budget tonight.
You can't ratify the budget. You have to ratify the budget amongst the members. The members have to ratify the budget. The board can approve it, but the members have to ratify it.
The board's going to approve the budget tonight, and you got to know what to pay, otherwise by March you'll be getting late fees. So we'll move on. 6, the garbage can enclosures.
These are not the joys you're looking for. Move on.
You want to speak to that, Mike, or you want me to?
You go ahead. Which one's this?
There is a carpenter who lives here 6 months of the year. He'll be here till May. The newsletter, I believe, is going to carry an article showing how he can make the stands, the barriers to hide the trash cans. This is something, I guess the last 2 or 3 boards have been trying to do, to get the barriers up for the trash cans. So you'll probably see that in the newsletter that's coming out. You can use his services. You have to pay him. We're not going to deal with it. You have to pay him, or you can build your own.
Chuck, can I shine some light on that one?
Go ahead.
Okay. So in our is it our ACCs? Is it ACCs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In our ACCs, it states that your garbage cans and recycle and grass green cans cannot be viewable from the street, side yard, or golf course.
That's your CCNR.
That's our CCNR?
Yeah.
Okay. So it states that. Right now, there's a lot of people that have their garbage cans on the side of their house. The community or the board has not chosen to enforce that because it is out of the way, but it is in breach of the CCNRs. So before the board goes and starts just unilaterally fining everybody, they are looking at ways to come up with a solution that says, look, here's a solution, here's a handyman, he can solve your problem for X amount of dollars, and then come June 1st, we will begin to follow our governing documents in the area of compliance. And so it's a way of kind of being proactive to give people a solution rather than just turning on the fines and doing that.
That's correct.
Okay?
We haven't actually
very much.
picked June 1st yet. There will be a date.
I
The
picked
board
it.
hasn't decided on it, but
Hypothetical
Jason's
date.
correct. There will be some date where that's necessary.
Arbitrary.
Come up here so I can hear you.
You'll be able to hear me. So is that handyman a friend of yours or a relative of yours? Or is what I kind of wonder.
No, I don't even know the handyman. He was recommended by another resident here in the association. He lives, I believe it's in Wisconsin half a year and here half a year.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Motion on this date,
Which one are we on?
page 18.
18.
Whereas the Board of Directors decided to take a vote on the preferences of the homeowners for wooden mailbox stands or cluster boxes. 2, the vote was conducted by the firm of Whitslow Hague with control of all voting and counting. The final count from Whitslow Hague is total votes 433. CBUs 233, 54%. Wooden stands 246%. Or the association lawyer has stated the vote is binding. I have that in writing, Jason.
Yeah, but I have it as well where he said he made a mistake.
5, the consultants doing the reserve study.
Yes, references.
Listen now. I don't want you to miss any of this, so pay attention. The consultants doing the reserve study were contacted by the president after the original study draft was received. The funding rate being only 16%, the president asking the firm to hold the report until the owners could vote on the issue. Additionally, the president asked the consultant to prepare a second study for CBUs so both reports would be ready after the vote. The consultant agreed to do this without any additional charges. Number 6, the November 15th, 2011 minutes and board meeting contains the following, quote, "At the end of this week or next, the results of the HB 1309 study will come back to us. At that point, we will be ready to take the vote on the mailboxes. The CPA will take the vote on which design is preferred by the association. Once that is done, we will go full speed ahead on whatever the owners vote for. The CPA wants us to complete the vote by January 1st before the tax season begins. The HB 1309 law takes effect January 1st. Now, therefore, the board accepts the vote of the homeowners as binding. Number 7, all future mail stands will be cluster boxes. Call those CBUs.
Hey, when open discussion is time, you guys can speak right now. Let him finish. All right?
This is our sergeant in arms.
Same for you guys. Y'all be nice too.
Okay, number 8, installation will begin this January of 2012. Number 9, installation will be rapid to take advantage of favorable bidding. Number 10, the HB 1309 reserve study has been adjusted to reflect the installation of CBUs in 2012. 11, the required statement pertaining to the HB 1309 will be included in the 2012 budget and all future budgets. 12, the board is authorized to order materials and contract for the installation and removal of old wooden stands and all related activities to complete the project. And we do have an extremely favorable bid as long as it's done before the mowing season begins. 1/3 of what we would have paid.
Good question.
Now, do I have
Question?
anybody to make the motion?
I do.
Okay.
Good job, Wes.
Do I have a second? Okay. Who made the motion? Mike?
Mike made the motion.
Mike. Okay, is there a second? Okay, I second the motion.
I don't,
President cannot.
President can't second a motion. That's a point of order.
President.
Robert's rules, the president does not.
Exactly right.
President,
Jason,
Robert's rules,
let me answer
the
you.
president cannot second a motion.
The Roberts rules
Or
say
make one.
that anytime
Or make one.
There's a tie.
the president says, the Roberts rule says that the president
Show me the
can at
Robert's
any
rule.
time be involved when it is necessary to move.
Oh, to get your vote.
It's not necessary.
Well, who else would like to second the motion?
Maybe nobody wants to.
Okay?
John?
John, are you going to second that motion?
I didn't second it, did I?
No, I'm asking you, because Chuck's asking you.
Is there no second?
Chuck, I'm not seconding it.
Table it. You can table the motion. Don't do it.
Okay, just a minute.
Let's move on. It wasn't second. Okay?
President needs to table the
I'm not
motion.
moving
I
on
appreciate
yet.
directors doing the right thing, all of us.
You've been fussing about Robert's rules, so I had to bring my book with me.
Jason, do you have?
I've got it online. I can look it up. Well, Chuck earlier was working off of modified rules.
Moving on. They're not
Moving on.
modified.
Next.
Hey,
We're not sticking to the, what
He moves on as quick as he wants to. Why can't we?
I understand.
Okay, it says here, anytime there's a tie, the president, well, it also says the president has the right to vote whenever his vote will affect the results.
When there's a tie.
It's for a vote. There is no
It
vote.
says, anytime it will affect the results, I can vote.
That's not a vote. This is a motion.
can't do that.
Chuck, quit rereading the laws, for God's sakes. This isn't Chuck's rules
You've
of
got a
order.
motion on the floor that needs to be tabled.
That's right. And it needs to be tabled.
Table. Let's move
No,
on.
that's not what it's done. The motion's not tabled if we have no second for the motion. That it,
It's table.
Gonna go to
Okay?
It dies.
Hey, Jason's already said it, I think 6 times, so let him say it again.
Okay.
You guys be quiet.
He's not the president.
Okay, the next item is the budget, which we will have to skip because the budget requires us to include a statement that all owners are required, and this is a statement by law, that all owners are required to report the following figures. And they are figures based on going to cluster boxes,
Why would
which
you?
would, don't interrupt me, Jason.
Why would you
Jason,
change our
stop
report without a
interrupting me.
motion that's already been approved?
Give Jason another fine, he's out of control.
We can't use the report because you already went in and tweaked
Why
it
do you
based
keep
on you.
interrupting him?
Jason,
That's
be quiet.
inappropriate. Well, that's inappropriate.
She's right. She's right. Let Chuck
All right,
talk.
all right.
Let Chuck talk.
Thank
Let him
you.
talk.
The motion to do the budget requires that legal statement to be in there. That's the law as of January 1. The motion we have is based on if we were to approve CBUs, you would be at a 50% funding rate, which would be acceptable for people trying to sell their houses. By not passing that, we're still at a 16% funding rate.
Actually, I have a comment on the report, Chuck.
Just a second.
Okay.
Excuse me, pardon to interrupt. Is Chuck here?
So,
Chuck McKinney said that.
it's me.
Hi, Chuck. Can you speak up?
Which is
Out here real quick.
considered weak, but often.
I think the vice president should call the board meeting.
Did you call
Yes,
away?
yes.
You can talk to me up here and I'll turn this off.
He's the president, officer.
Sir, it'd be much easier if we did this out
What I
loud
would
here.
like is for a number of
Thank you,
individuals that are out of order to quiet down so we can conduct our meeting.
I don't even know if it gets tabled, it gets killed. Dies. Dies.
You didn't say that it dies. No.
Go up and tell a few jokes. Let's do a little song.
Understands the sensitivity of this subject matter and chose not to. I really appreciate it very much on behalf of